Hey, so this is part 3 of the Tokyo 2005 series. If you missed the first two parts, you can see them on Azurite Reaction by clicking the links in the info. And I'm going to get started here, but for those of you who have not seen the previous two parts, this is basically me talking about pictures I took while I was in Tokyo back in 2005 and giving backstory on them if it applies to the picture. So anyways, I'm going to start right here, and this is the view outside of the Shinjuku New City Hotel where we were staying. And as you can see, it's October, so it's pretty rainy there during October. But the view though is just crazy. Like look at the shapes of some of these buildings, man. It's like if you ever watched Evangelion and wondered if some of like the places, some of the apartments were actually shaped like this, they actually are. They really go all out with like the apartment shapes. It's very rare that you see just a bunch of just flat square shapes. I mean, they really like the angled shapes. I don't know if that's just, I guess, like gain sunlight or what, but it's everywhere there. I don't know why. This is another view. You can see the rain is coming down from the windows there. And again, just another view, pretty much standard Tokyo view. It's packed as hell, even in like the residential district. And yet another view of the city near the Shinjuku New City Hotel. This one is to the right, and you can see some skyscrapers there, another one off in the distance, and a bunch of little antennae there sticking up and stuff like that. So pretty neat stuff. Now this is a view, if you look down from there, you can see a few windows open, but more importantly, you can see a little bit of how the city streets are, how they're kind of laid out. It's very tight city streets usually. A lot of them are just one way. I mean, you could barely even fit a car down there. So good luck, you know, if you got two people coming the same way, you're pretty much fucked. This is another more closer up view here of looking down the city area. If you notice, the parking here is extremely just, you know, shoved in there. You got people like double parked there and everything else like that. I'm not really sure what this is. It looks like a little miniature water tower or something. But overall, just very condensed, to say the least. And this is a car coming down the street here. You notice the little orange reflectors here, which I'm assuming are either lights or I don't know what those would be used for. I mean, I can't really see them being used as anything else but lights, but you can see the little light sticking out there, a little colorful blue light. Japan and Tokyo, especially in general, has a tendency to take things that we normally would see as just like a metallic gray, black, silver, white, whatever else, and really color them in these like really bright colors. I don't know if that's to make them stand out or if it's just part of like the aesthetics of the culture, but you'll notice that a lot when you're there. This is the elevator stall here, you can see, and the only reason I'm taking a picture of this is to note that yet again there's more English just plain as day there, and it says safely, and I'm guessing just press the button safely. I guess that's what that's for. Now we're going to get to the first really notable thing here. This is something that you would not expect to see pretty much in America anywhere for fear of theft, and what it is it's a cell phone charging machine. Is you plug your cell phone into it and you just leave it there and let it get charged. Now again, if this were in a country besides Japan, or at least in America, this just wouldn't fly because you'd have your cell phone stolen in about 2 seconds. But in Japan, due to the whole, you know, mode of thought there being like, well, if I steal, I'm representing Japan and I'm making Japan look bad, so I'm not going to steal, like the groupthink thing there of like, you know, all for one, instead of America's mentality, which usually, you know, everybody serve me, like everything is about me type thing. So it's very interesting that they just have this just sitting out in the, it's in the hotel lobby. This isn't in the hotel room, it's in the hotel lobby, that you just plug your phone in and just leave it there and do that. So that's pretty interesting, to say the least. And then we have this thing, the bane of my existence on both trips there. Oh my god, did I hate this thing. This is a computer you can use in the lobby to sign on to the internet and do, you know, whatever you want, email, etc. But here's the problem with it. I can type at a very fast speed, and I type the proper way with my hands on the home row and the proper fingering and stuff like that and everything else. Now, if you zoom in on the keyboard, you can notice how fucking small that spacebar is in its positioning. Now, on a normal keyboard, the spacebar extends all the way past these three keys and all the way to about right about there. So if you put your thumbs on the keyboard, you'll notice that if you rest your thumbs there, guess where they land? Like right here and right there. So when you start typing, do you know what this fucking button does? It switches stuff from hiragana to katakana. So you'll be typing and you'll just have your entire English switch over into something else. And then these buttons, I forgot what they even do, but it's something else annoyingly similar. What makes it even worse is the numbers don't correlate anymore to what they used to when you do shift. And in fact, shift doesn't even correlate anymore to what you wanted to do. I forget the system, but it's some crazy ass shit. And it's like, you have to basically relearn how to use a keyboard to learn this thing. It drove me insane. I would try and type, and I would just fuck up my entire sentence, have to backspace, which, by the way, the backspace key doesn't operate like it does in America either. It's something else, like, completely different. So it was real fun trying to type on this. Yeah. Second trip there in 2007, I brought a goddamn laptop. I said, fuck this. I said, fuck that shit. For those of you curious, too, here's a more closer-up view of the keyboard. You can see that things are a little bit different. There's the katakana, hiragana, romaji button, etc. I was talking about. The keys up here do not, again, correlate to what they're used to. The number 2 is different. The number, what one is it? Number 6 is different. Number 7 is different. 8 is slightly different. 9 is different, etc. You know, so that kind of messes with you too. And I believe these are somewhat different also. So it's definitely a challenge to get used to it for sure. But you know, you have to if you want to use the keyboards there. So shoot whoop. This was sitting in the hotel lobby, and I wish I knew what the hell it said. But that's an advertisement for green tea, which I drank a lot of while I was there. But no green tea ice cream. Now, later on, I have a section on arcade games and the video games that I found while I was there, but this one I want to feature really quick because it's a rhythm game that I hadn't heard of up until the time. And the game is called Paka Paka Passion. And it's essentially a standard rhythm game, but what you do here is you've got these notes going down the screen on the yellow, red, blue, and green keys, and you have to hit them where the little white notes appear, you know, etc. It's standard stuff. What's interesting about it is that each song has a separate note chart for keyboard, drum, I think keyboard, drum, guitar, and vocals is what it is. Something like that. And so it's interesting that this game made, you know, who knows how long ago this was made. I can remember like years and years, way before Guitar Hero and Rock Band actually had the whole mentality of the separate, you know, instrument thing. And the buttons here, just more game screens of it, the buttons are, you know, pretty obvious. I'm not sure why the red and blue are absolutely enormous compared to the other ones when on the game screen. They're pretty much the same size as are the charts, but I guess it's just a stylistic thing. Do I really need to say anything about this picture? I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. You've got some random Japanese chick with her belt undone, and Ronald throwing out some gangster signs. I mean, that's all that really needs to be said is that's it. So, you know. This is a fish mart right next to the McDonald's, and you can buy fish. They're just kind of sitting there. Just fish. Where does one start with this picture? Where does one start? Where does one end? A picture of Ronald McDonald on top of a man with a suit, with the caption of "Two sick bastards." This was on the side of the McDonald's restaurant. Now, obviously, they didn't officially endorse this, but this is the kind of shit you see in Japan when you walk around. This is what you see. Now, I took this picture not only as a kind of introduction to where I'm at right now, but also just to show you the interesting stoplight signs here. They have a, you know, stop sign, a walk sign, but look at the way the, like, timer is for the countdown before you can cross the street. That looks just like so stylistic. It's so neat. And then if you go for one more image, you see we're in Snoopy Town. Now, the Japanese love Snoopy. I mean, he is like on so many things, as you'll see in later pictures of this. He is everywhere. You know, obviously Peanuts are a global phenomenon, but they have an entire building dedicated just to stuff about the Peanuts. And Snoopy is, again, you can see on this image, you know, you've got more characters than the Peanuts there. You've got, wow, I actually can't remember any of their names besides Linus. That's pretty bad, considering I own like 5 Peanuts books. I actually remember Marcy's name, and I actually remember Linus, but I can't remember hers. And I know it's Charlie Brown's sister. Cannot remember the name. Wowie. And now we start our journey into one of the most famous streets in Harajuku. This street, here's the thing. In Japan, fashion is a really big thing because unlike America, where you've got like, you know, 10 or 15 brands that just dominate the industry, that doesn't really seem to be the case in Tokyo, as hundreds, if not thousands, of indie designers make their own fashions, their own clothes, and then sell them underneath various brands or just by themselves. And this street is basically a mecca for it in Harajuku. It's friggin' huge. And so I'm starting off here, and like many things in you know, other countries besides the one where it originated, you know, you can use pretty much licensed stuff and just not really care. So those are very likely not obviously sanctioned clothes, but you know, I don't think they're going to go out of their way to get some person in Japan selling this stuff. The next one we're going down here, you can see more English there on the bag. Music is my life. But this is the entrance to the street right here. You can see a bunch of clothing and stuff like that all in here. But the entrance here is right here. This is, I mean, you can see how packed this is. This is insane. This is like crazy. And everybody's got umbrellas out because it's an overcast day and it's going to start raining. But you've got a McDonald's because you got to have those. You've got a woman out here selling stuff, you know, everything else like that, trying to get people to the brand. I guess it's like a burger shop. You've got a random eye watching you. Maybe that's like saying we're watching you to prevent you from stealing. You've got a rare black McDonald's arch. I'm not really sure what the hell's up with that. But yeah, so I mean, this is packed. They're packed like a motherfucker here. You know, it's crazy. We're gonna go on to the next one though. We're gonna go on the next frame here, and we happen on our first brand, which is a terrible case of using English that they may not know, which is Nudie Boy. I don't think I have to say anything more on that one. I took a picture of this because it was just a little poodle walking along, and you don't see animals too often in Japan because of the housing situation being so small. They actually have pet shops, so you'll have a picture of that later, where you can go and pet animals, and that's all you do. You just go and you just pet animals, and you don't actually like take any of them home. You just get to spend time with them, and it's just relaxing. And they have those in Tokyo. And Jewel Box, which seems to be a larger store, but it's just called Jewel Box. That's another thing you'll see in the logos too very often in Japan, is you'll see a plus sign or an equals or an apostrophe or some other sort of, you know, thing to make it like look colorful, some sort of like sign that could be not only an actual, you know, thing used in English, but it's also used to make it seem like it's a symbol, like it's, oh, it's Jewel Plus Box, or like, you know, Jewel Cross Box, or I don't know, something, you know, fuck. And my dad grinning like a dork at a gigantic Pikachu outfit, which is approximately $50. And Ash on the front there is literally just saying, Pikachu something, Pikachu Gero Daza. I don't know. Pikachu fucks me. Again, everything is listed in English for sale. I don't get it. I don't get it. You can also see what looks like a keyboard here on the side, I guess. And this is yet another place where you can see what appears to be, I don't know who that is. Sekuchi. Oh, that says sexy. Okay. That says no pets, no cigarettes, obviously. And then they've got a gigantic TV playing something. But this is apparently all, you know, obviously women's wear. And it's just got the bras just sitting right out there in front. Marion Crepes. So I'm sure some of you remember the crepes argument in Family Feud. But crepes are a really big thing in Tokyo also. Anything, again, foreign, really, really big, etc. They love fancy foods, and crepes are, you know, like a fancy dessert. So, yeah. But that's really big. So, you know, I had to get a picture of this. It's the front of a shop, and it says, Butter, sexy dress, lingerie, tops, shoes, jeans open. Yeah, that's it. I can't show the rest of this image because it depicts in very blatant detail the sexy dresses and lingerie and tops and shoes. Yeah. Here we have the Coco Bongo with a very familiar logo up there, and taking it quite literally with the designs around it. And this guy right here is very unhappy that I have taken a picture of the Coco Bongo. He does not appreciate it one bit. And here we have one of many, many thrift store type things with just a whole random assortment of stuff. This looks like all Halloween stuff because obviously it's around October. You can see a Pringles jar here for whatever reason. You can get umbrellas for about $3. And this lady here that looks rather disturbing. But most importantly, what in the flying fuck is this? I mean, okay, it says Casper. But, like, what? Like, I guess it's Halloween, so I guess that belongs, but it just looks so weird. But anyways, just a bunch of Halloween stuff, thrift store, pretty normal stuff. Now, I know a lot of you find these pictures interesting just overall, but I also know that a lot of you watch this series just to see the absolutely bizarre random shit I come across. And this has got to be somebody who made this mannequin was just doing this to troll somebody because they knew they wouldn't figure it out. I mean, look at that. First of all, he's throwing some fucking gang sign here on the right, and then he's just blatantly flipping you off on the left. And I would bet $20 that like 99% of the people that walk down here have no fucking clue what that's actually like means in English, like in America. And that's just amazing that it's just sitting there. And it's just sitting there fully dressed, and it's just flipping you off and giving you what appears to possibly be the shocker. I don't know. But yeah, that, you know, I just don't even know. Now, I basically just said, fuck this warning. You know, I'm a tourist. I don't know. I don't understand English. So, basically, this is an example of one of those indie shops. They likely said not a picture because they don't want people stealing the designs. Now, I think this is pretty safe to put up, considering that this was taken, you know, like 8 years ago. And I don't think they have to worry about their designs getting stolen 8 years later. So, I think we're fine. And in another country. But you can see, though, they made all these designs themselves. They're selling them, etc. Pretty crazy shit. And there's a ton of these stores like this all up and down the street. So, it's pretty awesome.